Hello, BookTube. I've got a little bit of mail for you today on a gorgeous day. The storm swept through, dealt with the oppressive humidity, dealt with the heat, I think, probably for the rest of the year. So that it's just projected to be day after day after day of crisp, lovely weather. And I opened the morning's mail off camera. But that's all. There wasn't much that was of interest. But we've got a couple of packages we can do now on camera, and the first one is tiny. It is wafer thin, so it could be another volume of poetry. And perversely, I'm kind of hoping that it is, because I have a stack of poetry ready to go out for my poetry guy, and I didn't do it. And if this is more poetry, then I'm going to feel good that I didn't do it because I've got to add to it. Yeah, this is more poetry. Great. Okay, fantastic. What have we got here? This comes out in mid-October. All right, well, this is the final straw. So now I can't wait anymore. So I've got to make a package and get this out in the mail. But this is another bit from the New York Review of Books Books Poetry Series. We saw another book. There's one of these on the pile. This is On the Slaughter by Chaim Naaman Bialik, translated from the Hebrew and annotated by Peter Cole. On the Slaughter. Bialik is one of the greatest figures of modern Hebrew literature, a poet, essayist, editor, and publisher whose work opened a path from the traditional Eastern European Jewish world into a more expansive Jewish humanism. Born in a small village in what is now Ukraine, Bialik's first book of poems was published to great acclaim in 1901. 2 years later, in the wake of a particularly savage pogrom, the 30-year-old Bialik let loose a cry of a poem called On the Slaughter, and was then dispatched to the site of the gruesome event and commissioned to draw up a full report. What resulted was not a dry historical document, but a long poem of frightening intensity, one that spared no detail of the assault. City of Slaughter became his most famous poem, and also his most controversial, as it leveled a searing challenge to what he saw as the complacency and spiritual deadness of the Jewish community. Wow, so he was told to write he was commissioned to write a report, and he wrote a poem. I think I might kind of like this guy. Bialik's response to the pogrom has had a very different public life recently, as on the evening of October 7th, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu tweeted key lines from On the Slaughter, twisting their meaning hideously in the process and using them to call for revenge. Since then, the same lines have been repeated again and again by politicians, soldiers, and commentators. For Peter Cole, the translator here, however, both City of Slaughter and On the Slaughter seem to apply to the tragic butchery of Jews and Palestinians alike. Okay. Well, I will. This is very interesting, but I'm going to be sending it out to my poetry guy. He can do. I have all sorts of questions. To what extent has Bialik been translated into English before? What more was there than this that this poet might have written? What were this poet's influences? Etc., etc. I have all sorts of questions like that, and I will probably answer some of them myself, but it'll be up to my poetry guy to put that all in a piece. So, good. A slim volume of poetry, and the last such volume that I'm going to accumulate. I am now going to mail out a package. And then we'll do this next one. Just 2 packages, and then we'll be done. For now, I have large hopes of other things to come this week. Let's see. What is this? It's an odd shape. That's what it is. What have we got here? Okay, this comes out in mid-October. This is by James Cheshire, and it's called The Library of Lost Maps, an archive of a world in progress. And it is, you're not going to be able to tell, but it is wider than a normal book. I'm assuming it's wider because it's lavishly illustrated all throughout. Illustrations on almost every page, including spot illustrations on the side there. Okay, so the finished copy of this is going to be something to see. What have we got here? So James Cheshire is a renowned geographer, and this book is a fascinating forgotten collection of maps that shaped over 200 years of Western history. While teaching at the University College London, Cheshire stepped into a room tucked away in the basement of a lecture hall and was astonished by what he found. thousands of maps and atlases spilling out of wooden drawers and glass cabinets. It has been said that the past is a foreign country, and perhaps that is the most important destination I was transported to as soon as I stepped inside the Library of Lost Maps, he writes. Finding a map of Hiroshima printed just weeks before the atomic bomb was dropped left me devastated by the horrors humans can inflict on one another, while a map of the moon left me elated at the ways maps have been crucial to the pinnacle of human endeavor. Okay. All right, and our author is young. He's a young man. If that's a new picture. Yeah, and the pub sheet shows a lot of the stuff that's going to be in here, and the finished copy is going to be in color. Fantastic. Okay, so this comes out in mid-October, and is going to be a $40 hardcover in the United States on an inherently fascinating subject. So, good. The Library of Lost Maps. How interesting. Okay, so there you go. 2 books. One for all of you cartography fans, and one work of poetry. I'm really curious to know, is this the first time this has been translated into English? I didn't get that impression. I would think the pub sheet would lead with that. Has this poet written a lot of other things as well? I'm assuming this poet is not still alive, but how recently did he die? I don't know anything about any of that, and I'm now curious to know. So I will look up a little of it before I send it winging along with all of its compatriots to my poetry guy. But anyway, there you go. There's just a little mail. We haven't done mail in a while. I will be more careful with tomorrow's mail and try and get all of it on camera. So I'll wrap this up for now, and I will see you then. Thank you, BookTube.